कोविड-19 ਦੇ ਇਸ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਹਦਾਇਤਾਂ ਦੀ ਪਾਲਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਔਰ ਭੀੜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਣ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਖਿਲਾਫ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਲਗਾਤਾਰ ਸਖਤੀ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਟਿਕਟਾਂ ਵੀ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਪੀਲ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਜਾਮ ਦੇ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਆਓ ਜਾਣ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
Constable Cannon, due to pandemic, we see reduction of vehicles on road, but the streetcar racing and stunt driving has increased. We know that Peel Police is checking the hotspots at night. So we would like to know how many street checks, how many parking lot checks were done, and what charges have been laid, and how many charges have been laid.
So recently, our road safety services, in combination with working with our bylaw officers, were out over the course of this past weekend. So there was kind of a 2-day initiative where they have been out addressing these types of calls that we are getting and that we're getting from the public. So over the course of 2 days, which these are outstanding numbers, is that we actually stopped 614 cars. So the officers that were out enforcing the rules of the road stopped 614 cars, and they laid numerous charges under the Highway Traffic Act. So I think they laid 131 specific charges as they pertain to the rules of the road themselves, and 3 criminal code charges as well. So this is pretty substantial and really does send a message.
Constable Heather, we also see that people are out and they're standing in groups, which definitely right now is not allowed. So what warnings, tickets they are getting?
So the particular charges, now if you're talking about videos, and I'll tell you that the public is actually sending us videos of instances where they've seen vehicles that are racing on our roadways. Sometimes they come from the vehicles that are involved themselves, and they put that out on social media. Now, when we are arriving and issuing tickets, the majority of the ones over the past few days were really in relation to speeding and aggressive driving. So these are substantial tickets that the people that are issued them will have to decide whether they're going to pay them or they're going to go to court. But overall, I think the specific ones to the Highway Traffic Act were many to do with speeding and aggressive driving.
Constable Heather, we have seen a viral video in which a person is showing a ticket given by Peel Police, and he's saying that Peel Police can hand over as many tickets they want, but this will continue. Don't you think people are taking this too lightly?
That they're taking too lightly that we're out enforcing these types of things? Yeah. I think when we're dealing with road safety, and I think the message that we've been very clear on is, even though there has been a reduction due to the pandemic, there's been a reduction in the number of vehicles on the roadway. We really want to send that message that it doesn't give you or anybody the right to use that as a speedway and to race vehicles, because I don't think anybody plans to lose control of their vehicle. And if that's something that happens, and something happens where they hurt themselves or someone else, it's too late at that point. So I think it's just really trying to get that message out there that, you know, it may seem like something harmless to be speeding down a roadway, but if you lose control and not only hurt yourself but somebody else, which has occurred, you know, that's a serious thing. And to those families that are being impacted by these things, and not only that, we're getting calls for service for members of the public who are hearing the racing and hearing the revving of the engines, and it's very alarming to them. And this is where we are working with the public in order to identify these locations where these, you know, drivers are deciding that they want to use our roadways as speedways, and in trying to keep our roadways safer.
We know that Peel Police is doing a joint operation with the bylaw officers and handing over tickets, but what else Peel Police is doing to stop this? What strict action Peel Police is taking?
So as far as street racing goes, you know, we all our officers that are on the roadways now that are conducting, or they're answering calls. Part of our job as well is to go on and conduct traffic stops and So we are out there 24/7, not only dealing with specific calls that we're answering, but as well as conducting traffic stops and working with, we have specific units. So we have our road safety services unit, and within that is something called a race. And a race is a program, and it's something that stands for eliminating racing activities on streets everywhere. So it's actually kind of a combined effort. We actually work with other police agencies as well in order to, just because we have street racing here in Peel Region, doesn't mean that that could potentially move on to the 400 series highway where the OPP patrols, as well as it could move into Toronto. So we're consistently working with other police agencies in order to try and educate the public, and also by means of enforcement, you know, giving out tickets, seizing people's vehicles, and sending a message that way that, you know, to some, I guess some people may see street racing as, you know, it's something that they think is fun to do. It's the negative consequences that can occur afterwards by losing control of your vehicle, or, you know, causing a collision. Now, in this time of the pandemic, you know, with the collision, you're now bringing first responders into this with potential, you know, the potential now of, you know, if someone has contracted COVID, now it's experiencing that through a first responder of, now that's a potential contact with someone that we wouldn't have had before.
Recently, Peel Region's Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Lawrence Lowe, said that the Peel Region is not yet ready to open. We know the weather is getting better and people are coming out. So, looking at the situation, will Peel Police increase the safety checks?
Well, I think when you say street checks, that has a whole separate meaning. So, if you're meaning that if we're stopping vehicles, and checking vehicles that way, that's part of our job. So if we are seeing an infraction with the Highway Traffic Act, something under the criminal code, which is also potential, if you have a vehicle that's driving erratically and in a dangerous manner, under the criminal code, someone can be charged criminally with that. So I think we're not changing the way that we police with the number of vehicles that are out there, because we were doing pretty much the exact same thing prior to the pandemic occurring. So I think we will continue to work with our community partners, with the public, because again, from what we're seeing here and the messages that we're getting from the public is they're not tolerating people that are street racing in our communities, down our streets. We certainly don't condone this at all. So hence we're doing our part in order to enforce the rules of the road and lay tickets where necessary. But again, this is completely, like, when you talk about road safety being a shared responsibility, it's certainly something we're seeing right now. We are definitely working with members of the public who are identifying where they see the street racing. Sometimes we see it on our own. And again, it's completely something that we are working with everybody on to keep our roads safer.
If I talk about Brampton particularly, the hotspot is the Sheridan Plaza, and we have heard that people do not feel safe when they go to that plaza. So will Peel Police increase the safety checks there?
I know that there have been issues in the past, and we have been working not only with the property management at that location, but as well as with the public. So, and with the city as well, in order to address some of the public's concerns. However, it is a public space, and but with working through property management and with the public as well, because sometimes we can't be everywhere at the same time. So sometimes we need the public in order to tell us where things are happening and let us know so we can address that. But I can say that we've been working with property management. And as far as upping patrols, and I guess it really just depends on the types of information that we are getting, just because we have been working with property management in order to deal with some of the issues that are happening there. And I was under the impression that things were a little bit better. Again, it's just a matter of the information that we get and working with community partners and property management to try and assist with any issues that are happening.
All right. In the end, any message for the viewers?
Just do what you keep me doing. So if you're out and you're driving your vehicle and you're obeying the rules of the road, keep doing that. And if you do see anybody that is driving erratically or is driving in a dangerous manner or is street racing, you can call us. We will attend. There's another function on our website, and it's called Road Watch. That is something that you can make a report on online. You can input a person's plate number, what they were doing that was causing it to be an aggressive driver, or didn't stop at a stoplight. You can report that to us, and we will follow up on that as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Constable Heather, for joining us and for sharing all this information. Please stay safe.
You too. Thank you so much.